Walk and talk 23. I had to think about it then. Walk and talk 23. War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Well, actually, war is good for a lot of things. It's the main purpose for wars is to transform all those countries involved. That's why they love world wars, because world wars end up transforming the world. You know, here's my little mates. War. It also kills the strongest male genes of any country that's going to be going through the most change. So let me give you an example of that. They had to wipe out all the strongest male genes in the West for World War I in Europe, right? So they started that little war up. Because they had already planned their McDonald's. These sorcerers and these muppets at the top had already planned their McDonald's future. Yes. But in order for them to bring about their McDonald's future, they had to wipe out the strongest male genes. Otherwise, those strong male genes would have been going up to the houses of their government with pitchforks in hand and would have been like, no, we want our farms back. We don't want your McDonald's. We want our farms back. Because people back then weren't so stupid, you know. So what did they do in World War I? They had them all ran into machine guns. Running into machine guns. Millions of people. And that wasn't good enough. So then they did it World War II. They did the same to bring about their transformation, to bring about their McDonald's society. The McDonald's society we've been living in for a while, since the Second World War. It allows the displacement war is brilliant because it allows the displacement of human beings as well, and it promotes migration. And even with these more recent wars in the Middle East, that's all been about, again, wiping out the strongest male genes in a society and then pulling in all of the foreigners into those countries and the illegals into those countries so that there ain't any strong men left to fight on their soil, right? Because they've all been minced up in the meat grinder. Not only that, but most have committed suicide, and even worse, most of them are mentally incapacitated through trauma. Their spirits are broken, and most of them are missing their arms and legs, and therefore are incapable of defending their nation, and are at the will of the political jokers. War gets the countries that are at war working for a very cheap price, almost slave labour. It does a lot of things, war. The agendas can be really pushed heavily during states of war. Let me just speak to these babies. They've been calling out and I don't like to ignore them. Woo! 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 Such lovely creatures, so earnest in their delivery, aren't they? Yes, they are. Oh, yes, they are. You're a good boy, Brucey. Oh, yes, you are. So, war makes massive amounts of money as well for the military industrial complexes. But like I say, the main thing is to promote change. And was it? I always remember Alan Watt from Cutting Through the Matrix. I always remember him saying, about, is it Carol Quigley, where he says you can get more done in 5 years of war than 50 years of peace. It's cool. Look at these beautiful petals on the floor. It's like this forest is really kind of majestic sometimes, and sometimes it drops like little furs from the trees, and it makes it look like the floor frosty. It's the closest we get to a summer. The closer we get to a winter, sorry. So, yeah, they can get more done with 5 years of war than 50 years of peace and propaganda. That's what wars are really for. And what they do, like for example with Iraq and the Middle East, they are all the people that they need to get these wars underway and to promote these wars. They give them a little cut of the cake. So like you know, you'll get this contract, you'll get the infrastructure contract after we've bombed the place to bits, you'll get the oil contracts, you'll get the military weapons contracts. It's disgusting, isn't it? And then all of those involved promote whatever war's being pushed. Life is very cheap when it comes to war. And I think it's funny how they stoke each side that are participating. If the soldiers on the ground knew the truth, they wouldn't want to fight. And with the Trumpinator entering the seat of power, woo, 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 and with the Trump card being played, everyone thinks, oh, we're going to be alright for another 4 years. Everything's going to be great for another 4 years. This one likes me. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo. Might get one more out of it, I reckon. Yeah, with the Trump card being played, we're looking at yeah, you know, it's got a Zionist top heavy office, but also what we're looking at is I believe you're going to get a dictator this time. I couldn't help but think, I mean, the way that they play the games all the time, the way that they play the games all the time, like last time for World War II, they had the old Hitler, right? And with the Trump, when I see all the people going, oh, Trump, ah, Trump, Trump, oh, I love you, Trump, oh, Trump, you're our saviour, Trump. When I see all that, I just see exactly the same deal being played again. It worked last time, didn't it? So why not play it this time? There's a few modifications here, look. That's what I mean by it makes the floor look frosty. It's not so clear and it's not so evident here. It's on the trail. Yeah, I can't help but see the same game being played with Trump as they did with Hitler. There's a few modifications. I mean, you've got Trump saying he's going to deport all of the illegals. Okay, how are you going to do that? I'll tell you how they're going to do that. It's going to have all of the... It's going to have to be Everyone in America is going to have to go through, show me your papers. Let me see your papers. Oh, oh, you gotta be really careful what you wish for, folks. You gotta be really careful what you wish for. You're gonna look at a dictator this time, and no doubt there'll be a false flag involved, which will push us into the war between Islam and Zionism. A war which is deemed to be so bad, which they project to be so bad, that both religions, all religions in the world, will be completely crushed, and out of that will come the new religion of science. They want to change the world again, and for that to happen, they need another war. Now, the war really, all the wars really, they're all wars on you. It's them against us. That's the real war. And you've got to be careful whenever they use the terms war on terror, war on drugs, a war on COVID. They all mean a war on you. Yeah. The war on drugs was a funny one when it come to Afghanistan, wasn't it? Bush and the plan of getting all them poppy fields back up and going was a real war on drugs, that was, wasn't it? And like I say, looking at Trump, it's looking like the masses are all ready to jump in bed with another war. You've got to understand, Trump isn't bigger than the military-industrial complex. He's not bigger than nothing. The Council on Foreign Relations has more power than Trump. You know, all the ex-prime ministers and presidents that are in these shady organisations and think tanks and institutions. The Royal Institution of International Affairs. These people have way more power than any puppet sat in a president or prime minister's seat. So we're going to see it all really go off, and they always do things perfectly. So they've already filled up most of the European countries with people from the Middle East, ready for this war with Zionism against Islam, and it's going to pull the whole world in. I don't think there's going to be a single place safe on this earth when this one goes off. And that's why, you know, I have my own plans that in time, even if I only live a short while, I'll still live free. My freedom is of most value to me, and I am learning to go in there and not have to come out, because in there I feel safer and better off than I do in society or around people, because people are flipping bat crazy. You've got people chopping their bits and pieces off, and they call it science, right? Anyway, well, that's a topic for another day. Just consider those things that war are good for. Not least of all as well, population control. But I think the Jabberwocky is one of the best things they've used for population control, because people worldwide are dropping like flies. One day we'll have a real war, you know. Maybe one day we'll have a real war where it's us against those small minority of reprobates, those weak little weasels. They're not even weasels. They have less worth than one of these dead leaves. At least these dead leaves are feeding something. Those people in power are useless to man and beast. So I think we'll leave it there. Be blessed. Be kind. Risky! Say goodbye, Roo. Oh, Risky Roo. It's a Rooski. I'm living Roo. Come on in, Roo.